Hey, Scott here. It is Friday afternoon, and it was exactly 1 week ago right now that we had wrapped up the January client intensive. I just got kicked out of my second favorite coffee shop in Davis. It's 5 o'clock, they're closing down. And what I want to do is give you a little preview and a summary of what's coming up this week as a follow-up to the client intensive and helping you with all the stuff that we talked about. So I've got my iPad here because I wrote down some notes. I didn't want to forget anything for you. So a couple things in no particular order, but I think they're in some kind of order that I want you to keep an eye out for over the next couple days going into next week. Okay, so number one, Jen Spencer's presentations. Those have already been sent out. I sent those out Saturday morning after the client intensive. I had some time in a coffee shop before our Mastermind, our Elevate group, and I powered through and sent those out. If you have not seen those presentations, for some reason you didn't see the email, I got lost because it was on a Saturday, whatever that is, and you want a copy of those, just let me know. Reply back on Slack, just pop me a note, send me an email, whatever, and we'll get a copy of those to you. So that's number one. Number two, lots of you have been asking about the member site, the client site. Yes, it is coming. So thank you so much for the enthusiasm. We're so excited to show it to you. We're just working on a couple of the final kinks on a few things and doing some final testing. Everything is looking good to go for next week. So our team is going to be putting together logins for about 10 or 15 of you that have requested the first round of access. And meanwhile, we're continuing to load more content in every single week now. So once you do get those login, if you get those login, we'd love for you to dive in. Let us know if anything is working particularly well, if anything isn't working pretty well. It's our chance to kind of iron things out as we continue to load more and more and more and more and more content into that site to help you really turn it into a self-serve opportunity to grow and learn and do all the stuff you need to go 24/7. Okay, so that was number two. Number three, client pods. So we talked about the Mastermind group, and so many of you told me how valuable it was to work with a group of peers to solve problems and work on challenges that you have. And I mentioned one of my objectives over the next couple of weeks and months is to take that live environment we've done and move it into a virtual environment. So I did some work this week, and I'll be doing some more work next week to set up our first couple. We'll probably do 2 or 3 groups. There'll be 5 or 6 of you per group. I've been assigning people per group that are in the same kind of stage, dealing with the same kinds of problems. So if you're a little bit later on, you've got a couple $1 million in revenue, and you've got a team around you, and you've got sort of challenges around quotas and territories and projections and team management, those kinds of things, I put you in one group. If you're leading the company and you're doing a lot of the selling, you're trying to scale that part, I put you in another group. So we're doing our best to put everyone in the right group, so we have the right mix of people so you can learn from each other and grow from each other. So what'll happen over the next week or so is the first 2 or 3 pods that we put together, so anywhere from 10 to 15 of you, you'll get a little tap in the shoulder from me virtually, a little tickle from Slack, email, a text, whatever, and just say, hey, I've assigned you this pod, would you like to join? And then just assuming that you do, then we'll get those pods set up. I'll help you, I'll join those first sessions or 2, and then you'll be able to run those on your own as well, which is going to be really cool. So those are the pods. That was number 3 update. Number 4 update, Slack channels. So I mentioned that some of you have been suggesting to me it'd be really great to have multiple Slack channels to kind of categorize topics. So the weekly emails that go out, priorities and projects as one channel, questions that people have as another channel, program updates as another channel. So I've got those set up, and we're going to be setting those up and releasing those. We need to do some more testing just to make sure that when you send the forms in and the questions that they all go into the Slack channel. So definitely working on those, so keep an eye out for that. Number 5 is the trainings, the videos from the intensive itself. So some of you have asked, like, hey, I want to rewatch some stuff, or people on my team couldn't make it, or I couldn't make it, and I want to watch a couple of those things. We're getting those edited right now by Stacy, and we've already got some rough drafts of those. We'll get those loaded up, and those will go into the new member site. So you'll be able to access those. We'll give you the link, and you'll just be able to pop through those modules either one by one or watch them in succession if you want to. So that was number 5, the videos and the training from the intensive. And last but not least, implementation. So if you want some help this week, is a great week to get some help, not only because we have the normal round of coaching calls that we have every week, but this Thursday, the 31st, we have a Get Stuff Done work sprint session. It's on the calendar. So check your inbox if you haven't seen the calendar invite. We sent those earlier in the month. I'll send a reminder out to everybody Monday or Tuesday. So love to have you join if it's just a way to block out some time for us to work on implementing what you learned, projects that you're working on, anything else that you need. I'll be there. We can do breakouts if you need a quick one-on-one, answer any questions, get any help, get you unstuck. So that's a great way to kind of follow through some of the work you've been doing, whether it's from the client intensive or just work you're doing in general. A great opportunity to work with me, work with some other people in kind of a study hall scenario. So those are 6 updates. So it's been 7 days since we wrapped up. Those are 6 updates. Team here has been heads down, working really hard to push all this stuff through. So you'll see all those updates coming through. I just wanted to share all that and let you know what was coming over the next week or 2 or 3 ahead. And dude, so much momentum going into this year. I'm so excited, if you can't tell. So thanks so much for being part of my life and let me be part of your life and your work. And let's do this. Let's go farther in 2019. See you soon.